Hit it hard, every day on the move, trying to get it off. Hit it hard, they might think that I'm rude when they hear me talk. Hit it hard, hit them all with a juke, then I grit it off. Hit it hard, gotta stick and keep moving to get it off. Hit it hard, every player in the groove trying to get the ball. Hit it hard, I won't say, but this move got me real off. Hit it hard, I mean off the charts, know I'm the biggest boss. Hit it hard, gotta live it, stay true or you miss it all. Hey, facts over feelings, don't worry about how you feeling. No, we just keep it the realest. Know I'm a warrior, know I control with these people. Must teach them with lethal, with wisdom. Locking with decon to chop it and listen. We'll hop on the block, dropping knowledge, uplifting. Lately been popping it off, the topics they want. We're blocking and drop what they missing. I gotta stick to the mission. Roll tide over critics who listen. No time for a biased opinion. Most guys going live for a living. Those types just be trying to survive. Hard times got them starving and living. Game time, always starving to give it. And most times it's on life. Post hype for the vibes. Numbers going up high. Views going up high. Looking down from the sky. Always gotta keep it fly. You know we gotta do it right. You know we gotta.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. This is your boy D Cot coming from you for a special with a special Cots Corner on a Saturday morning. A lot of conversation talking about people and cities and big names talking about a lot of great things, big names talking about a lot of bad things. I felt in my heart to come on live and do a Cots Corner today because I think there's some things that need to be discussed and talked about in a big way. But I didn't want to do it by myself. There's a reason why, because I've got a special guest with me today who is not just an authority on a lot of things, but he's also a friend of mine. So I'm going to grab him on here and bring him into the stage. Welcome to my guy, Ojinga Carr, certified high performance coach, friend of mine, basketball coach, father, great dude. And also, by the way, just happens to be a Memphis resident. Welcome to the show, Ojinga.
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing, man? I appreciate you being here. Appreciate being here with the audience and everything along those lines, man.
Living the dream, man. I appreciate you being on, man. And, you and I were chatting up a little bit, yesterday about, the commentary from LeBron James speaking about the city of Memphis needing to go to Nashville on the heels of Draymond Green saying very similar. So when I saw those things that were being said, I said, well, when Draymond Green says, well, he's got a big mouth. He just talks all the time anyway. But then when the most impactful NBA player in the last 30 years, the biggest name in the NBA still, when he speaks, people listen. And I felt it was irresponsible on his part to speak about Memphis in the city where he's probably been in his life maybe 4 times. So I want to get you on to talk about this, talk about that impact and how that made you feel when you saw that being a Memphis resident.
Yeah, well, I mean, I appreciate you. I mean, the thing is that I'm a Memphian by choice. So I have been here for 13 years, and so I'm not an original Memphian. And the thing is that what you see with these athletes is them being really out of touch with where they are in the real impact that they have. Now, all clarity. I've been a huge LeBron James fan for his entire span that he's been there. I look at his entire time that he's been in the league and all the things that he's done, whether it's with the Leadership Academy, coming out of where it is he came from. I have a soft spot for that from having worked with at-risk kids. So I know how hard it is to go from where he was, even with all the talent, even with all the abilities and the things, to where he is now to be a billionaire. But the thing is that to be here at that spot, at that place, and then to be as irresponsible as he was with his language and what he was that he was saying is just a non-starter. It's dead for me as it relates to LeBron for all the other things it is that he does, because this is such a very vulnerable environment here in Memphis. So, Kai, like, if you'll allow me, I mean, like, I'll tell you. So, when you think of Memphis, understand that you're just thinking of any other big city in the United States. When you get into the comments, I live here in Memphis, but I've gotten the opportunity to be able to travel across the United States. I've spoken in 49 states and 3 countries, doing work across the United States. So when you go to, if I go to Indianapolis, where you are, when you read the comments about Indianapolis, what you'll find are things that mirror the same things they say out loud about Memphis. So you read the comments when you're talking about, oh, don't go to Indianapolis downtown tonight. Oh, the people are going to get you. Oh, this and that and everything like that. When chances are you have a better chance of a former NFL quarterback who's a commentator going on a crazy streak in Indianapolis, nearly killing a truck driver. But we don't say that's what it is. So there's this undercurrent of racism in the way it is that people communicate about these cities and what it is they do. And we are set up to lose. This is a game that's rigged, that's set up to lose in this environment. And for a person with the stature of LeBron to get up and say the things it is that he's saying is just really disappointing because like he has the power to be able to do things to make a difference. And so the people who have the power to make a difference, then come and pile on. What are we really gonna do? So it's horrible.
Yeah, when those words came out, the first thing I thought about was, man, Memphis is predominantly black. 67% of the residents are black. And he talks about, taking care of the African American community. And one of the things I said to is, you have to speak on something that you are aware of. Having a reckless statement or a commentary when you don't know the whole is just a bad look. And I understand it comes on the heels of what happened with the Pooh Shiesty thing and all of that. I get all of that. But the city of Memphis has a rich history in the South with regard to family, fun, and love is also as well. There's a lot of cities in the United States that have a lot of crime, right? Example from a Cleveland perspective, Cleveland is very similar in crime that Memphis is. Now, mind you, Cleveland is where LeBron, right, played at, right? And understand this: the median salary in Memphis is about $51,000. The median salary in Cleveland, average household salary is $37,000. So maybe he was talking about Cleveland. Maybe he wasn't talking about Memphis. Maybe he just got his words crossed up, right? When you talk about the crime rates, very similar. Cleveland has about 380,000 people. Memphis has just over 600,000. Maybe we talked about doing his homework. Remember, he's they say he's a coach on the floor. He's the smartest guy on the floor. Well, we ain't talking about the floor. We're talking about a societal piece, right? And that's what was disappointing because clearly when I did my research last night, he didn't do his research on what was and what wasn't, because the mirror is Cleveland. That's getting, this isn't an indictment on the city of Cleveland either. But what I'm saying is you have to have, what my man Rollins said, you got to be able to read the room. And if you not reading the room, you're going to say some things that may impact people because your voice is as strong as anybody's voice in this country right now, because from an athletic perspective and what he's done from a legendary, he's a billionaire, he's grew up as a poor kid in Akron, Ohio, and now he's a billionaire off of athletics and his intelligence, all these things. And it just frustrated me when I saw that. So as a perspective, that's why my background I got Beale Street as my background here, because you know how well I love Beale Street. Talk a little bit about the city of Memphis, man. What kind of over the last year, what you've seen in Memphis as it pertains to I know there over the last year there was a large decrease in homicides in the city of Memphis. But talk about the snow that you all received during the winter storm, and how give people some opportunity to kind of see through the lens of a person that's in Memphis, not just someone who sees it on the map and drives through from time to time.
Well, the thing is that when you think about Memphis, and we are currently being occupied, which is crazy within itself. But between having ICE and having the National Guard here and having the federal task force here, and people will say, well, that's the reason why. But those numbers haven't even reflected in what was the crime rate was going down some anyway already. It's one of those things that ebbs and flows. Yes, crime is difficult, but what you see with crime is that they also you put that in with, you look at the fact that in Memphis they ended all the boys and girls clubs. So all the boys and girls clubs are closed completely in Memphis. So when you take away youth programming, what you do is that you set up a situation where you're not doing anything but institutionalizing these kids that are there. And so there's a really the literacy rate here is really low. These are things that are issues within. We've had all kinds of turmoil with the superintendent situation here, between having a superintendent, firing another superintendent, being there, those different things that are going on. So there's a bunch of, it's very difficult for Memphis being a blue city, and we're looking at it politically, a blue city in a red state, because what happens is that Memphis doesn't get all of the proper resources that it needs in order for us to be the best it is that we can be. So look, I'm blessed. I get I live out in the suburbs, and so living out in the suburbs, what I see from a military presence is a bunch of National Guard troops walking around the mall. When I take my son to go get his haircut, he gets his barbershop is at the mall. So, and when I take him to go get his haircut, you see military troops walking around, National Guardsmen walking around the mall or so. But when you go into some of the more inner areas, what you see is them being extremely aggressive with the people who are here, and being aggressive and doing that. And so, because you have all of that that's going on here in this city, understand this: the Grizzlies bring in about $300 million in revenue into the city each year. So if you were to take that $300 million, you're not just saying because you don't like hotels or because you don't like these certain things about it, then what you'd be taking away are people who work as security around the arena, people who do the different work that comes around in the area. The people, last night I went to a game, so parking downtown, all those different things like that. All those things are there, but you juxtapose that with the fact that going down, I went to the game last night. So you go to the game. We went into the game, and then we come out of the game, and it's past 10 o'clock, and where we parked on the other side of Beale Street, because the arena is right down by Beale Street. So now, in order to walk through Beale Street and walk in the area, you got to walk through metal detectors and show your ID and get your ID scanned and everything along those lines. There's all these different mixes of things. And I mean, our beloved president said that when he came here 3 weeks ago, that Memphis was cured, that nothing, that there was no more crime anymore. That crime went down 100% since since that, and it was going to go down maybe 50% more. I don't know how crime can go down 150%, but I mean that's the way it works as far as that, And so what happens is that, and this is a very dangerous thing in our community, what happens is that people start to really live in these tropes that are brought in by somebody else, by other people, and our people start to share those tropes. And so that's what it is that LeBron got caught up in this situation, is that you find yourself, LeBron ain't been anywhere but the same 2 or 3 block radius of that of the arena. He hasn't seen anything here in this town. He doesn't know that Shelby Farms is one of the largest urban parks in the United States, like bigger than Central Park. That's here in Memphis. It's amazing. You can go out to Shelby Farms and go horseback riding, like on a regular day. Go out and go see all kinds of different animals that are there. That's not even like in the zoo as far as, and then like go and kayak in the lakes. All those different things are things that are right here. And the thing that's frustrating for me as it relates to LeBron is that LeBron can profiteer. And earlier this year, put out a colorway of his LeBron shoe that was for Martin Luther King, that was using the colors of the Lorraine Motel, which is a couple of blocks away from the arena where he was talking about where Martin Luther King was killed at the National Civil Rights Museum. Puts out a colorway, says that these color the teal colors are the colors of the hotel for that, can profiteer and sell those shoes for $210 a shoe. And people will have a little bit of a backlash saying, okay, so how are you selling a shoe based upon this based upon this assassination that happened in the city? And he's honoring Dr. King with that. But then when you get on a golf course, out being off the cuff and talking for an hour, you allow yourself to get chopped saying something that is unbelievably detrimental. They led with that. That wasn't something that was buried. It was an hour and a half conversation or so with these guys on a golf course. They led with the Memphis stuff. Why is it that they led with the Memphis stuff? Why is it that that incendiary piece is there? Why is it that those things are going on? And do you really realize the difficulty of what happens? When COVID happened, so COVID happened here, and one of the things that the mayor did here during COVID is that they went and they were like, oh, we don't want people gathering or anything like that. So they went into the inner city and took down the rims in the basket on basketball goals on the parks on the parks here. So you take down the rims because you don't want people gathering because they're going to be passing COVID around, right? So what are we doing? We're eliminating youth programs. We're taking away outlets. Memphis is a basketball city. Our football team has gotten better from our university, but people care about the Memphis Tigers. It was hard for them to bring. They brought the Grizzlies in, and people adopted the Grizzlies. And we've been really lucky here in Memphis, honestly, because the Grizzlies have had the grit and grind era. There was Paul Gasol that came in with the Grizzlies when they came from Vancouver, basically. Then you had the grit and grind era with Mark Gasol and Zebo and the group that was there now. Then you have the next gen Grizz who've been there with Ja and his group that's been there. So this year and the last couple of years has been the first years that we've been really horrible as far as like really bad, honestly, like in a long time. It was before the grit and grind era, which grit and grind era has been 15 years now. Before then, that we've been bad in basketball. So we've filled that arena up. It's one of the more difficult places to play when we do so. And that, to me, honestly, is why Draymond had what he had to say. It's why LeBron was here a couple of years ago in the playoffs, and was pissed because there was a band. They were staying at the Westin, which is right across the street from the arena, and so there was a band that was playing during the day, and he was angry because he tweeted about it. He was angry because it was messing up his sleep. So he's being petty about that.
Right.
Anthony Edwards has had something to say about Memphis. Anthony Edwards has something to say about everything, though. I mean, like the dude got 8-9 kids. We don't talk about that. 8-9 kids, 5-6 baby mamas, or whatever as far as that. But he has something to say as well. But he also has an playful adversarial relationship with Memphis as well too. But you can't talk barbershop talk out here in the mainstream. You can't talk those types of things out here because people will pick up on it and clip it, and then there you go.
And what you're saying is for those who want to understand, you can't talk that way like you're thinking at your barbershop when there's only 5 or 6 guys in the shop. This is millions are watching. Everything that these guys say is grabbing, being tweeted, being clipped, and being posted. All we're saying in this situation is this: be responsible in your verbiage, be responsible in what you do and what you say. And then if you are going to give an opinion about something, have the statistical data, have the facts, and then also encourage others to communicate with you about what is and what isn't going on, as opposed to just willy-nilly. Because I would imagine if those things were said about the city of Cleveland, he would come to the city of Cleveland's defense. And that's all I'm saying. This isn't Cleveland versus Memphis. This is responsibility. And I know some say, well, I thought this was a sports show. Yeah, LeBron is an NBA player. He talked about a sports franchise leaving Memphis, going to another city, Nashville. That's sports. And some would say, well, Memphis, Nashville, what's the difference? Well, there's a large difference, right? And I've been in Memphis. I've been to Pacer games at Memphis. Matter of fact, you and I hung out. And Memphis beat us that night. I'm still pissed about that. But the thing what I saw in Memphis is, this is my perspective. Every game I've been to Memphis and that FedEx Forum, I've sat near someone who was very pleasant to me. I had on Pacer gear. And it was in a good way. No one ever disrespected me. No one ever cursed me out. No one ever tried to throw anything at me. And I'm just going to speak to you from a fact. In the Gamers Life Fieldhouse, that's happened to opposing fans. I've seen it, right? I've seen it. And so we're in Indianapolis, but I've been treated very well every time I've gone to Memphis. Granted, I love BB King, so that's just my spot. But I've never, yes, I've seen on national, news and things happen, but I've never experienced anyone disrespecting me or putting me in a bad place when I've had my Pacer gear on. Because when I go to other cities to my games, I've got my Pacer stuff on, right? So the point I'm making of that is this: yes, this is about sports, and yes, this is a little deeper than just the surface of a basketball team. Because this is an economic impact that Memphis Grizzlies have on the city of Memphis that they needed desperately right now, right? So I just wanted to just make sure we shared that and gave a little context, because people look at a clip and they'll form an opinion. It must be true because so and so said it, right? And we have a responsibility to share information, the good, the bad, and the ugly at times, right? The NBA season is winding down. There's a lot of stress. A lot of guys are talking about a lot of different things, and I get it. But I'll say this from my perspective: I want the city of Memphis to keep the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't want to go to Nashville, right? I've been in Nashville multiple times too. Okay, you act like Nashville. I guess they're acting like Nashville's Bel Air, and Memphis is something else. We've both been there. We've been down 61 going towards Tunica, seeing what's going on. I get it. But unfortunately, a lot of people who are commenting haven't, right? So I'll just tell you this from my perspective. I know you won't. Don't take it personal, Memphis, because these people don't know. They're just spewing information that is unfounded. But I want to talk about also too the Grizzlies, right? Because this is sports, right? I want to get your take on what's going on with the Memphis Grizzlies with Ja. They're going to be in they got 2 lottery picks. They can flip this thing pretty quickly if they make the right moves. I want to get your take on the Memphis Grizzlies and Ja, because my co-host Isaiah, he's not a Ja fan. He feels like Ja is definitely on the downhill because all the things that have happened to him at his own peril, right? At his own cost. Give me your take on the Memphis Grizzlies, Ja, and what you see coming up May 10th, which is the lottery show, and then June 25th, which is the draft.
Well, I mean, look, people are sad here. They're sadness because that next gen Grizzly group of Ja and Jaren and Desmond Bain and oh my gosh, just slipped my head. My guy in Houston, Dylan. I'm sorry, Dylan. And Dylan, yeah. So Dylan will be angry if he knew that somebody didn't think of him, because Dylan thought of himself on that same level with
He might
them.
come see you.
And then right, exactly. He might legit come see me. And Steven Adams with that group as well too. Before with that was a great group. And so we got to that point where we were second in the West, and people were like, man, this is that next group. So where the Thunder are right now is where a lot of people thought that
Yeah.
the Grizzlies would be, honestly, that they would grow with that group. But they're just a young group. And look, Ja's job. That's who he is. And I don't think Ja will be here next year. They really tried to move him at the trade deadline, but they couldn't get anybody to take him. They honestly the offers they had for Ja was that they were going to have to throw a draft pick in with Ja to hand him off somewhere. And so they also are not going to give Ja his wish and let him go somewhere where he wants to go. Ja just put his house up for sale just this past week or so. That's because he knows he's healthy enough that he could have been playing this last part of the season, but they just shut him down for the year, and that's just what's going on with that. I would love to see the Grizzlies are eighth in lottery odds right now. The lottery comes through as far as that. If the Grizzlies hop into the top four, then now you're talking about in the top four, you got some sort of a mixture of DeBonsa, a
He's
Boozer,
going to be with the Pacers. Take up DeBonsa off. Take DeBonsa
right,
off your radar.
right.
It
Right,
won't
or
be.
Darren
He's
Peterson,
going to
or
Indiana.
Darren Peterson. That's what I'm saying. These are your top four are going to be DeBonsa, Darren Peterson. I know because he's going to be a Pacer, right? DeBonsa is all right. We're going to give you Darren Peterson because that'll be fun for you guys because that's what I'm saying. That where
You
you can
know
have
how I feel about that.
you can have our Ja experience where will he or won't he play
Yeah.
all the time as far as that, right? But you got DeBonsa, you got Peterson, you got Boozer, and you've got Caleb Wilson, who are really the top four that people are coalescing around. Me personally, I would not be upset if we got the five and then took Darius Acuff because Darius Acuff would be a great job replacement. Here he's an undersized dish guard because he's 6'3". He's
Yeah.
listed at 6'3" right now. When he goes to combine, he may end up listing out at 6'2" or so, as far as that, but he's tough, a gritty, tough competitor. And just me being an Arkansas guy, watching Darius Acuff this entire year has been amazing. I was on it from very early on. I was like, yo, if we could get Acuff, that'd be great. Get Acuff, and then we'll get the Magic's. I believe it's the Magic's pick that's there from the Bane trade. And the
Yeah.
Magic the Magic are kind of taking around here now. So they're down at the 10 or the 9 over in the East. So they don't have a great opportunity to make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, they're gonna make the play in because they're in the play in. But if they don't make the playoffs, then now you're talking about another pick that's a nice pick as well too. And so you put that together and see, you look at what we have. We got Jaren, and then we turned around and we got Ja. Now we got Jaren in the draft. Jaren was great. Jaren was never a Memphis tough player. And I think that when we drafted Jaren, it was kind of weird because we allowed on either side of Jaren in that draft for Trey Young to go on the other side and Luka to go on the side there, and then those two teams to switch picks around us. And Jaren was drafted in between that on that draft. And so what would have been if we had taken Luka, or if we had or if we'd end up with Trey Young. I mean, Trey Young is another undersized guard. That was the year before Ja, with that with Jaren with that. So who knows? But we've done a decent job recently with this front office staff of drafting and doing a good job, a decent job. We've had some clunkers in the past. We drafted Hashim the beat
Yeah.
the year that Steph went another maybe five picks after Hashim Thabit
Yeah.
when we did so. So we've done some interesting things, but this front office has been decent with that. But yeah, Ja's gone.
Yeah.
So I know
I
that
figured
the
that.
people are hoping for it, but no, Ja's gone, and so we're gonna be on a new start. Hopefully, we get two really good young stars. If Zach Edey could be healthy, along with that, because Zach Edey is a force when
That's
he's
what I'm
healthy,
asking.
but that's when he's healthy, as far as with that. Cedric Howard really was a good draft pick this year. Cedric Howard is going to be a solid NBA player. He already is a solid NBA player. You've got Jalen Wells is a good, solid NBA player. So we got some guys. So,
Good
yeah.
deal. And I did want, because it's funny you brought up Zach. So this is for Reggie Sykes. So you know how he's a homer. So
Right.
give me your take on Zach Edey, man. I think he has he's 7 foot, a high ceiling. But what do you think about him long term wise as a Memphis Grizzly?
The question is if he can stay healthy. What they wanted to do with him. We've had coaching tumult as well too, because now you got Thomas that's the coach now. But before him, when you had the group that was there, they were wanting to run Zach Edey in the same way that they ran Steven Adams, where basically we're running screen and roll with Ja and having this huge massive dude to be able to run screen and roll off of and to be able to move. And he's proven that he can move better than people thought that he could move, because he was a bit of a statue, more really a statue in college, but he
Yeah.
was a statue that was a player of the year, two-time player of the year in the NCAA. So like he can score and he can defend well, because I think it was my guy from UConn, Kling, whatever his name is, that was
Klingon or something like that.
yeah, Klingon that got drafted in the same draft that we were kind of vacillating back and forth on, and he hasn't done much in the league.
No, not at all.
But Edie's just been hurt. When Edie's been healthy, he's been fine. He's been really good, but he's been hurt. He's been hurt most of these 2 years that we've had him. So if you could have a healthy Zach Edey, and then you have Coward at the three with that group there, and then you go, if you get a Darius A cup with that, and then you get another high level draft pick, we're right back out
Yeah.
of the right back in the play in to
Yeah.
six range there
That
in the
would be
West.
great. I
Yeah.
was sitting there thinking as you were speaking about it, I was thinking Darius Acuff,
Mhm.
Koa Pete, Zach Edey.
Oh man.
I'm telling you, I've been watching, and I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
I know Koa Pete is looked at as a late lottery pick, but if you saw that game the other night against Purdue, right?
Yeah.
He got a shot blocked. He made a decision. No one's gonna block another shot of mine, and I'm going
Right.
up 2 hands. And he
Yeah.
showed the promise that he came out of high school with, and the talk that he deserved as an All-American and out of high school. I just think he would be a kid like that, along with Acuff Jr., because he's going to get you the ball. He's
All
going to
right.
make up mismatches, right? And then you got that three-headed monster there to then get fill out the rest of your roster, especially because again Ja has to go if you bring in Acuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
no,
Ja's gone. Ja's gone no matter what.
okay.
It doesn't matter who we end up drafting. Ja's gone. I mean, what's going to happen is that the ping pong balls are going to fall right for us after all this drama we've had. We'll get one, then we'll take the bands up from you guys, and then there you go, and then we can have the bands and everything else will be great, and like we'll be ready to roll then.
I've already got my AJ DeBonza jersey on order already. Just wait until till May 10th when we know we get the number 1 pick. Then I'll go ahead and make it happen.
Right next to your Caitlin Clark gear, I know.
You know how I feel about Caitlin Clark.
I know how you feel about it. So Caitlin and AJ and just taking over Indy. I got you.
Exactly. Well, maybe I'll have a jersey like this. I have
Right.
Caitlin Clark, Mendoza, and AJ DeBonza like on my interview.
Man, that's like a 3-headed monster, man, for real. I mean, it's like
I don't need you.
that's flipping Austin in Indiana. It really is.
I don't need you to keep challenging me on Mendoza. I'm going on record. He's one of the nicest human beings I've seen on TV. I said this though. He's a project at the quarterback position in the NFL. If he starts this season, it's going to be a disaster, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Tebow was a really nice human being as well, too.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll talk about that off air. But man, listen, I really appreciate you being on with me. I know it's early. I know you got some traveling you got to do as well today. But this has been good, man. I appreciate you being on as a part of things. You bring a different perspective than some maybe not had, right? So this has been powerful. And I'm definitely going to challenge the guys in the group what we were talking about, getting back on that Zoom, because that's how this show started on Zoom. But we got to get back to that.
No doubt. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to get a chance to chop it up. Anytime you want to talk about anything, listening, it's good.
Appreciate it for sure. Everybody, this is been Cots Corner with my man Ojinga, not Oginga. Ojinga Carr.
That's it. That's
Way
it.
back, right? Again,
That's
everybody
it.
have a great day. You all be safe and take care of yourself.
All right.